Hello.
Hi, Deborah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Rick?
Yes.
Where are you out of?
In Redmond, actually.
Redmond.
Yeah. How about
I'm
you?
in West Seattle.
Oh, okay. You and I may be the only ones online at this point. I think we're the early.
Well, I thought I would test my new camera that I got because typically I'm incognito when I do these calls. So I got a new camera and a new speaker, so I thought I'd test it out.
Uh-huh. I love your ceiling there. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's pine, and one of the walls in the living room is pine as well.
Cool.
Yeah, it used to be an old cabin that has since been converted to a house.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in the investor world?
Oh, a little bit of everything. My wife has a retail brokerage, and she and I invest together, but I also flip on the side. So I'm not a broker. I'm just a private citizen who does flip.
Yeah, I've done a few myself over the years. I had a funny one. I bought the house on Craigslist, and then I fixed it up, and then I sold it on Craigslist.
Oh, no kidding. That's funny.
Yeah, that was about, oh gosh, like maybe 10 years ago. It's been a while. Hi there.
Hello, Troy.
Hey, Rick, did you get that loan funded?
Not yet.
What was it for?
You mean the 50,000?
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, my camera is acting up. Yeah, I don't remember what it. Yeah, that was like 3 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Still not funded because it's it's a different beast. It's not institutional, so it's definitely private. I would do this myself, but I invested initially in this project with my IRA, so I can't. But yeah, we're actually now with costs going up, we're just to be on the safe side, we're looking for 75. And it's a it's a loan behind a conventional underlying and a loan to one of the partners. The seller of this project, it took back a note. He became one of our partners and took back a note. So, basically we got into the project for free, and he's the original owner is happy now just to be collecting checks and not having to manage the property himself. We just need to finish out the remodel and get 2 units rented. One unit is renting for $33.45 a month. It's finished. It's a 3-bedroom. The other units are a 2-bedroom and a 1-bedroom. So we're looking for 75 to finish this out, and then our intention is to sell. So it would be a relatively short-term, well, I'm always on the cautious side. I'd say 9 to 12 month loan, but we're hoping to exit sooner than that, obviously. Yeah.
What terms are you looking for?
At this point, name your price. We'll consider any reasonable terms.
So there's equity in the property?
Yes, there is.
I mean, basically you have no loan against it right now?
No. We do have loans against the property, but its value is higher than the loan. Right now we're easily in excess of $1 million. Finished will be at about 1.2. And outstanding debt on the property is 850. So there's room there.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey, Aaron.
Julie's not gonna be able to make it today, so I'm gonna take the reins and see if we've got some folks joining us today.
You're a brave man. Julie does an awesome job.
Yeah, she does. Tough
It's-
shoes to fill, but you know, I'm sure we'll do fine.
Yeah.
Joe should be on here too today, but
Oops,
we're
I
just
think
gonna give people, you can carry on with your conversation. We're just gonna give people a couple minutes to jump on and just do our thing.
Hey, Deborah, if you're interested, if you give me your email address or I'll shoot you mine,
Mhm.
I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
So you're looking for 75
Yeah,
and you have about 800 on loans right now.
right. 850 outstanding total debt.
So you'd be 925 outstanding on a value of 1.2.
Right.
And then as soon as you're done, you're going to list it.
Yeah.
Which would be when again?
Where are we now? October 15th, no later than January 15th. Should be fully leased and ready to go.
Oh, you're going to lease it or sell it?
We're leasing it up. It's a triplex. We're leasing it up and then we will sell to somebody who wants to own a fully leased triplex.
Oh, got you, got you.
All right, we've got folks jumping on here. Hey Joe, how's it going? Got Keith
What's up,
joining
Aaron?
us. And what else? Justin's jumped on here. Awesome. Hey guys. Hey, just FYI, so Julie called me a little bit ago. She mentioned that she can't make it. She's got 6 deals that all like are trying to get contracts and closings, and everything just kind of came on the same day. So she asked if I could just step in and facilitate our discussion today, which I'm happy to do. You guys are an easy group, so we'll do that. I'm just going to give, again, one more minute or so, but while we're waiting for everybody to jump on, like, what do you guys got going on, and how are you guys doing?
Doing good. I've got a fixer in Everett that I'm going to go live here in a couple hours that I was planning on flipping, and a couple comps that were fixers in the area went up a lot higher than I thought they would. So I'm going to try to give it a shot to sell it as a fixer. So if anyone's looking for something in Everett, 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, why don't you shoot me that information, Justin? I'd like to
Yeah.
see what you got. Got a couple clients too that it might be a fit for. So
Cool.
yeah, that'd be great. Got my info?
Yeah, I do.
Fantastic. Cool. Anybody else? Troy, how's your mobile home park going? Maybe you have more than one by now. I don't know. But how's the one we were talking about for a while?
We're looking to refinance our second note. We're looking for a $200,000 note to refinance our second. We need about 50 grand to get through phase 2 of our reposition, but it's going. We got rent collections are up. We've got 72 residents now.
Wow.
And only 110 left to go.
Wow. Yeah, it's a long road, but are you making the progress you were hoping to? Like, is it at least steadily moving towards your goals?
Yeah, we're exceeding our initial goals. We figured we'd add 1 unit a month. And that would have put us at like 50, 56. So we've doubled or tripled our expected growth this year. But we're dumping everything into it. We took a $200,000 tax loss last year, so
Wow. Yeah.
it's nice.
All right. Well, at least you're progressing. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And we got a new sign. Oh, look. Oh,
There it is.
oh.
Very nice. Atherton Crossing. Very nice.
Rebranding and yeah.
Very cool. Well, cool. Well, everybody that's here, welcome to Seattle Investors Club. You know, if you're first time to the group, don't recognize a couple of the names, but I've been missing for a couple of weeks. So if you are first time to the group, we'd love to have you introduce yourself. My name is Aaron Royce, and I'm kind of stepping into Julie's shoes today just to take over the meeting, just to see if we can give Julie a little break. She's got several deals she's trying to close today. And so we're good, just letting her do her thing. And she may jump on if we're still talking around noon. She may have a chance to jump on, but not quite sure yet. But anybody first time to the group? Simont or Michael? I don't recognize your names, but maybe you've been here before. Cool. All right. Well, what you know?
Simont's old hat.
Old
He's
hat.
been
All
here a
right.
while.
Cool. I just
Yeah.
didn't see a picture, so I probably just didn't recognize the name. My apologies. But what kind of things are going on in the market today? Anything? Maybe Keith, do you have anything to kind of give us some updates about in the lending world? What's going on there?
Be patient, my friends. Be patient. It's just there's a lot of volume going through the system right now.
Okay.
And if you're thinking about writing shorter than a 30-day close, you should go hard money.
Really?
So
Really?
yeah, it's just
conventionals?
really busy. I did my real estate now live, and one of the agents that I had on today, he's like, yeah, not only are the lenders really busy, escrow is really busy. So you're at the mercy of capacity right now. So it's just that, you know, and the other thing too is if you're out in the boonies, off the beaten path, off the I-5 corridor, getting an appraisal is taking 2.5 to 3 weeks, and that's business days, right? So just be patient. Don't write really short closes unless you're using hard money, and they're going to fund in 2 weeks. Past that, rates keep at their low pace. They're flat right now, just right under 3%. So good time to pull some money out and go buy some more.
Hey, Keith,
Yeah.
is there a way to do a closing where like you've got 30 days and you want to close right away?
Mhm.
So you use hard money, but then you want to refinance after with regular money. Is every lender in town going to count that as a cash out refi, or you have to wait so many
Yes.
days?
Yeah, that's a
All-
cash out refinance. So whenever you're going to encumber the property, well, let me step back. If the hard money lender is going to encumber the property, then yes, it's going to be considered a cash out refinance. And
Oh.
so then you have seasoning requirements as well as, you know, all that goes with a cash out refinance as far as higher interest rate, what have you. If you buy all cash, you have 90 days to make application, and then you can recoup your cash on a rate and term refinance.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so that's called delayed financing. So long as you're all cash, you can do a rate and term within 90 days.
With
If you
no
use
lien
hard
on-
money,
Uh-huh.
with no lien on the property, that's the really big
The key.
detail that people miss. You know, I've had people go, oh, well, I got the money from my dad and he put a deed of trust on the title or on the house, you're screwed, right?
I see.
So
Yeah.
90 days if you buy with all cash?
Yeah, you have 90 days to make an application, and it's considered a purchase money refinance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And rates are the same as if you were doing the purchase.
Correct.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's really
Yeah, so
good.
if you have cash, if you have the capital to go buy quick
Right.
at a lower price, then you can turn around. Now, keep in mind, even if it were priced higher, we're still going to give you that contract price, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the delayed financing, is that what you're calling the delayed financing, or is that a different strategy?
Yeah, that's called delayed
That's-
financing. It's a
Yeah.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac rule.
Oh.
Yep. Good question. Oh, I now have an outlet for non-owner occupied HELOCs up to 80% combined loan to value between the first and second. So I'm super excited about that.
Are they ARM rates or can you do a fixed?
They're all HELOCs. I mean, you can,
Meaning that they're all arms.
yeah, they're all home equity lines of credit. So you
Okay.
can, once you draw down, you can exercise an option to fix a portion of it, but
Mhm.
the original note is done as a line of credit, not a loan.
Is it the same paperwork as doing a full mortgage? With all the documentation?
Yes, it is. All that fun and joy.
So on our rentals now, our rentals that have equity, we can get a nice HELOC on there.
Yeah, you can pull up to 80% CLTV.
Wow.
Yep, super awesome.
CLTV? What was
Yep,
the C?
combined loan to value.
Okay.
So take your value, multiply it by 0.8, minus out your first mortgage. That's what's on the table.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Good deal. Good deal.
So
Anybody
Troy,
else
are you
have-
in Detroit or are you just sitting in front of your sign?
What?
Are you in Detroit or are you just sitting?
No, I'm in Seattle.
Okay.
Sorry. Rick and I are working a deal behind the scenes in the chat log.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So
Nice.
what was your question, Aaron?
No, I was just going to open up. If anybody else had any interesting market information, any updates about stuff happening, any interesting things that others should know, love to just let you kind of have the floor here. Just Keith was giving us some lending updates. If there's any other updates from the market, that'd be great.
I've got an update for Seattleites. I've got a couple of Amazon tenants as rentals, and Amazon has gone to their employees. Maybe this is public knowledge, but it was kind of new to me. They've gone to their employees in Seattle and told them, if you want to work remote anywhere in the country outside of Seattle, let's renegotiate your work contract. So they're trying to let people in Seattle leave as quick as possible so they don't have to pay the head tax.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I can see a mass exodus of people leaving Seattle. Not, maybe mass exodus is too strong a word, but I can see a lot of Amazon employees getting tired of the political issues in Seattle, the traffic necessary. Well, I'm West Seattle, so our traffic issue is different, and that's where my tenants are. And the cost to live here. If you can live anywhere in the country and work remote for Amazon, why would you live in Seattle unless you're really tied here with history or family? Because you can get so much more for your money somewhere else as far as housing. So I'm a bit concerned as a Seattle landlord with all of my properties in Seattle of what's to come. I'm curious if anybody here has done a 1031 exchange recently, because I've heard there's some talk that they might be going away. Anybody heard that?
Just heard that that's part of Biden's platform potentially, but it's not clear. Like I don't know the details, but it was just as part of his platform. That's one of the tax. But again, not clear if it's just for like the high income earners or if that's an across the board thing. Anybody else have any more detail on that?
Deborah, on your properties, if you don't want to sell and go through a 1031 right now, you might look at converting them to corporate housing, because that's going to be the next big move. If Amazon's moving all their employees out, they're going to need more corporate housing for when they bring them back for meetings and jam sessions.
Kind of temporary housing.
Yeah, but have it managed by a corporate housing company.
That's interesting.
I never thought of that. I have done furnished rentals in the past, but I've never used a corporate housing company to do it for me. There's companies that specialize in that out like in Seattle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there are a bunch in Seattle. But they'll pay higher than market rent. They cover most of the maintenance costs, and they'll split CapEx with you typically with a 2 or 3 year lease with annual rent increases. And then you forget about your property for a couple of years.
How can I find corporate rentals? Just Google corporate rental Seattle.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks. I'll do that.
All right, I'm just taking some notes on some of that good stuff. Cool. Yeah, anything else like that? Appreciate you sharing that, Deborah. Anybody else have some insights into the market that they want to share with the group? Cool. What about deals that people are working on that they might need some help or want to get some ideas from other folks?
I can ask you a question, Aaron. So I have a property coming up in Renton. The owners is trying to sell off market. So he himself sold another property for $560,000 after $70,000 of renovation. And he's trying to sell that property to me for $385,000. So I just wanted to see what you guys think. Does it make a good financial sense to purchase it, renovate it, and sell it off? So purchase price $385,000 to $395,000, and then of course the holding cost and renovation about $70,000.
What's the ARV on that one?
I'm estimating $575,000. There's actually one got sold close to it for $575,000. Same square footage, same old school design of split level housing, same square. Everything is same actually. So $575,000 is ARV.
What do you guys think? Anybody, Justin, you big time turning properties, or Rick, or anybody?
On the face of it, if you can buy something for 380 that is worth 575, that seems like a no-brainer.
Okay.
But I'd be looking at things like, I'd be checking to validate that. I'd also be looking at things like, does the property cash flow? On the face of it, seems like it should, but if it's not, then I'm always looking for properties that cash flow. I don't want to pay somebody else to live in my property. So as long as it's producing cash, you're buying instant equity. I don't see the downside. Can anybody else see anything wrong with that?
So tenant is leaving out, so it's gonna be like a flip over. So the owner is, he flipped one property down like 2 blocks down that way, one direction for $560,000, and another one flipped same property for $575,000. So the comps looks pretty solid. It just, I think the only variable I'm considering, never flipped a property in Washington, is the cost of renovation.
Yeah.
So is $80,000, is that kind of like standard for 1,700 square foot of a house?
That's a loaded question.
That is
Yeah, it's a super loaded question because, if you include the roof, does the roof need it? Are you making changes to the layout? What's the kitchen look like? Do you have to update the plumbing? Do you have to learn, is it a 100 amp service? Is it 200 amp service? What,
Okay.
Is there water damage? Is there if you're going to take it down to the studs and rebuild it, then, you're looking at probably 120, 130.
Okay.
Yeah, there's what about landscaping? You have to redo a new driveway, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot, unfortunately, if this was starting from scratch and building, it'd be a lot easier for us to say yes, but without knowing, all those other details, it's really impossible to answer that question.
Yeah, my 2 cents on that too, just from my flip experience, is just, if it's a pure cosmetic, at 1,700 square foot, that's a pretty decent budget. But again, like Justin was bringing up, once you start getting in there and you start peeling stuff back, you could end up with some pretty big surprises. So what year is the house?
Built in 1964.
Yeah, so you're kind of borderline in that age, wouldn't you say, Justin or Rick? Just kind of borderline with electrical, plumbing stuff. There could be some stuff that are real gotchas.
Okay.
So and if you're gonna keep it as a rental, then that that changes too. you're looking at possibly just shampooing the carpets, maybe just adding a new countertop instead of replacing the kitchen. What are you what's the what's sort of the end goal? You don't want to remodel a house completely just because you can. If it's a rental property, keep the cost low, so you're not going to lose a renter because you know, the renters are not looking at the same type of stuff that buyers are. Usually renters are a little more urgent just to get into something that's going to be in the area and what they're looking for, because it's, you know, it's real estate's like dating. You know, rental is just a girl, and you know, and buying a house as a wife. So they're not going to commit to, you know, to so much of those things just on a girlfriend. So.
Yeah, I think the other thing that you have to kind of question is, if he's done 2 on the block, why is he willing to sell this one?
Yeah, so he just want to get away from the whole real estate. He have 4 other deals, and he's trying to probably going to sell all of them slowly. I'm already talking to him to buy another one of his property, and so he's no longer wants to be in real estate.
Okay.
Have you been inside this particular property?
Yeah, I wish I was, but I will refuse me for now to enter because of the COVID. But they are leaving October 1st, so we will go in there, and everything will be pending contingency of, you know, me doing the inspection of the property, and you know, of course, to see the property and get it appraised. So, but it, you know, I just wanted to get somebody inside, like, you know, driveway will cost them money, plumbing and all that. So that's good to know. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, at first blush, the numbers, you know, look fine for the numbers you've presented. But just keep in mind holding costs, surprises, you know, level of finish that you're planning to do to get that 575. So.
Where's this house again?
I'm sorry, what did you ask?
What city is the house in?
It's in Renton.
Okay.
Yeah,
if you pass on it, let me know.
Yeah, a few of us would like to see it. And if you want somebody to go over there with you too, just let me know too. I'm not far from Renton, so.
Okay. Yeah. Once I have the contract signed with them, I'll reach out to you. I think I have your number.
Awesome. Cool.
And then I have another one. Yeah, I have another one coming up, and if somebody is interested in that one, so I think Keith tried to help me in the past on that. So I have a property coming up in Elgona. It's gonna be vacant definitely by December 1st, and if after repair value for that property is about $400,000. You know, it's I can share the address if somebody wants to text me, if anybody's interested. It will be like lower 300s if somebody wants to purchase it. It does not require much of the renovation. It's mainly cosmetic. It will make a good financial sense to keep it as a rental. As of right now, the property is rented out for 21, and it should be rented out with a fresh paint and there's some clean landscaping. Could be like $2,250, $2,300.
Yeah, that sounds like a good rental. Cool. Yeah, let us know when that one comes up.
Yep.
If somebody would like to take a look at that. Awesome. Anybody else got any deals they're working on they'd love to run by the group, some problems they're trying to solve, or even just a huge win you want to brag about? We want to celebrate with you too. No? Okay. Thomas, what are you guys working on? You always have some interesting stories.
Not a whole lot lately. I've been kind of put the whole thing on hold for a little bit. I'm focusing on a couple of big projects. I'm in HVAC, so I got a couple of big projects coming up, so been focusing on that. Now, I do notice that over in Grace Harbor, which is kind of where the last couple of deals I have done, the markets have been going up. Renters have been moving a lot into, renters from Hoquiam has been kind of moving elsewhere, and we have a lot of people coming from Olympia over to Aberdeen, and from Aberdeen, renters from Aberdeen start moving over to Hoquiam. So that's kind of an interesting trend. The market over there is kind of slowly going up at a faster rate than I thought. That I don't know if anybody wants to look into that market. I think it's a pretty energetic market.
You said Aberdeen?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a few deals over there. I'm actually working with a property manager. There, I think he had one property under contract. It's a fourplex, two fourplexes, owner financing. So yeah, I saw a few owner financing over there. It requires a lot of work, but owner financing is always the best one. It's pretty low.
Yes. So if anyone remembers years ago, Monroe up in our area, so people from Bellevue start looking around, and people that don't want to live in Bellevue or don't want to pay for the price tag in Bellevue, they start looking for Monroe, and so they drive half an hour, 45 minutes home, one way every day. So Monroe market just went into kind of like a hyper appreciation maybe 7-8 years ago, and so now it looks like Hoquiam and the Aberdeen are kind of going through the same thing that Monroe went through years ago. As soon as I'm done with a couple of my projects over here, I'm going to be right back to that market and just scout around and see what I find.
Oh, that's some great insight. I'm just curious, like, did anything happen with Monroe when the market kind of shifted away from it a little bit? Like, did it ever dip again, or it just kind of went up and then it's kind of stayed, or is it still in that growth phase?
Monroe is not growing as fast as it used to be, because they pretty much once the price slowly kind of cap out $600,000 for a house in Monroe, people start thinking that maybe I can buy a $700,000 house in Woodinville instead of now. When it was $200,000-300,000 or $150,000 like 8 years ago, yeah, I mean there were deals everywhere. Especially we had a lot of Indian market people moving over there from Microsoft. Now that the market is high enough to where you find $400,000-500,000 houses, they just wean away. It's still there, but it's kind of slowed down a little bit. It's not the trend, the craft is not going up as fast as it used to. And I think the next one coming up is, go ahead. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, but it didn't pull back. There wasn't like this growth and then back. It just kind of stayed. Oh, interesting.
Correct. Not at all. Yeah. Now, the funny thing is, I have a duplex over in Linwood, right on Poplar Way, right by the mall, and that's kind of where the light rail is going to end. I got a ton of investors, like people I don't even know, constantly asking me if I want to sell it. They see something that I don't, and it's right in my backyard. Zillow, once a month they send me a report. I think they send to everybody. It has gone up quite a bit, but I'm not quite sure. There is something in Linwood that I don't know of, that quite a few people are just constantly trying to buy my house. If somebody knows something, let me know.
Is there light rail coming?
Light rail coming down to about 2 miles from my house.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of old news.
Big. There could be zoning for future potential zoning to make it multifamily and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, mine is already. Oh no, you're right. Mine is only duplex, so it's still pretty much single. But I'm on a 13,000 square feet lot, so yeah, I can see what they probably know something that they can build like a 4-town home or something. But I think Linwood is going to become kind of like Shoreline coming up.
When is your light rail going to be in there? How far away is it?
I think 2024.
Yeah, that's not that far away then.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now, I mean, that's what they're projected. I mean, same as Bertha, they can always go behind schedule.
Yeah. But the investors are trying to get ahead of that curve, obviously.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, and I think I have asked our group, I have asked you guys if somebody can find me a 1 acre lot in Pryor 6-7 months ago. Man, I could not find anything. 1 acre. So Pryor is kind of like the little Medina of Snohomish County. It's the only town that within civilization over here that they still let you walk your horse down the street. It's still legal. So some of the 1 acre, they've gone up to like $1.5 million, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
But yeah, I couldn't even buy a lot there. I mean, I can't even afford that. So if somebody coming up with something, let me know. I have 4 investors with cash willing to buy land over in Fryer, just so that they can buy, they can have like a isolated house. So yeah, that's all the update I got so far.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
Thomas,
Yeah,
I
you're
want to
welcome.
review the comprehensive plan. I just sent a link in the chat.
Okay, got it. I will take a look at that in a second. Thank you.
What was that for, Israel?
It's the comprehensive plan for future development in the city of Linwood. So typically, investors will take a look at that and see where path of progress is, and they may be seeing something within that comprehensive plan that you're just not aware of. City of Everett, North Everett, has a lot of development going in there as well. Anything north of 41st Avenue. So I know a lot of investors are bullish in that area too.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, one more thing too is I work with a lot of landlords, not by any means like investor, professional landlords, but a lot of people have 1 or 2 houses, and I'm pretty much booked my schedule completely out just looking at houses they are converting from like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom and trying to add another bedroom. From what I learned from those guys is people that are now have to stay at home and work from home, they are actually willing to pay more to get an additional bedroom. So I meet with a lot of people looking on HVAC work and just try, find out how we're going to make those kind of things possible. That's kind of an interesting new trend also. Maybe some professional landlords can elaborate with that.
Anybody? Yeah, I know oh, go ahead.
I've got a couple of 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses, but the cost to add a 2nd bedroom or a 3rd bedroom and maybe even a bath, it's cost prohibitive, at least in Seattle that I can see, unless you put some kind of little shed out back and make it a she shed or have electrical to it so they can have a separate office space. That's probably the cheapest way to go.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, Thomas, is I know like with our flip in Kirkland, we're doing a pretty big addition. We're making sure, so in addition to being like 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, we're creating a whole office, like a dedicated office, because we figure people that, executives want to have a home office situation. So we're starting to look at like making sure we're at, marketing office space for that big project.
So one of a very wise, pretty street smart handyman that I know, what he has been doing is he's looking at some of the houses that has like a big shed in the back, and what he did is he basically make sure that there's a 20 amp electrical there, put some sort of heat in there, insulate it, and there you go, separate office. I'm actually looking to do one myself. I actually, as you guys see, I'm kind of sitting in a warehouse. I don't have an office anymore. So I'm actually looking to do exactly the same thing at my house. That way, unofficially, it's an office that somebody can work there. It will probably triple the value that I put into it, which is hardly anything. And I don't have to go through all the permit costs, all the plan review and all the drawing and all, because it technically is not a dwelling. It's just I'm just insulating my garage or insulating an outbuilding. I thought that's a pretty smart idea.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. Another, like, you got me thinking now, Thomas. I'm thinking if you actually have an outbuilding on your property that you can do that with, so it's not like inside the house. Right. You could even advertise that for someone else. If you don't want to use it, I bet there's somebody down the street who doesn't have an office space, and to go, just a few houses down to a separate building like that, maybe you could rent it out to somebody in the neighborhood as a home office that's nearby, a type of thing. Just a thought.
Yes, and believe it or not, there's one of the company that I know called WeWork. They're basically working on sharing offices, and yeah, eventually I think that's going to be kind of the new thing. And then we just got tons of like additional ADU remodels. So yeah, you're right. It is that thing is coming. I'm actually looking at doing it right at my house. I thought of cutting one of my big tree down, put a tree house on it, and turn that into a little office. It's just all over. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a huge
And,
shop out back, and I already rent out a couple of the spaces for like storage and stuff. But I'm thinking maybe I can make one of those spaces into a home office instead. I probably get a heck of a lot more rent.
Oh, so if you buy one of those Home Depot or Costco steel
Yeah.
building, yes. So I don't know the permit in city of Linwood, but in Snohomish County, I typically don't have to, because it's a movable structure. You can put it there, run an underground power to it, dig down 18 inches, run a PVC conduit, run power to it, and then you're pretty much done with some insulation. And
what about restrooms?
there you go, an office for incinerated toilet.
What's that?
A lot of people are doing that, incinerator toilet. So it's kind of like those one that they put in modes that you plug into a 110 outlet, and it just incinerate everything.
Hey, I'm learning some cool stuff today.
I happen to be like the actual, going down, watching those guys swing the hammer. So people are getting pretty creative, and they're basically creating the whole trend that way so that they can go around waiting for 4 months for permits.
Yeah.
Because I lost money before, just waiting for permit and going, 3-4 rounds with the city.
Wow.
Yeah. If anyone needs some sort of handyman, I'll be happy to recommend some of my guys. They're super good.
Yeah, can you? I'd love to hear recommendations.
Okay, yeah, just put your email down, and then I'm going to send you an email and ask you what you're looking for, because I got about 4 guys that I pretty much trust them with my house, and then depends on what you need. I know which guy to refer you. They are a little bit busy, but coming from me, I'll make sure that they make some time for you.
Yeah, great to know. Cool. Well, let's see, Israel, anything, any updates in the lending world from Certain Lending, or anything you want to share with the group?
Yeah, we are getting ready to launch a beta construction program. So if there's any investors out there that have basically shovel-ready lots that want us to provide them with a financing quote, more than happy to. As I said, it's a beta launch, so typically we reserve it for more experienced investors, and they are incentivized by lower pricing and a bit higher advance rates than what's out in the market right now. We just want to work out the kinks before we launch it to the masses. But we still are fully bullish on the single family residence space in the 1 to 4 unit space in terms of fix and flip and the 30-year fixed rental products. But I think that new construction product is definitely what I'm most excited about here in the near future, especially.
Is that going to be something available to non-investors? Like say I have a customer who wants to build a home and we're going to do a custom home for them that they'd be able to access, or is that down the road?
That's more down the road because they are newer or less experienced. They won't get the perks that a more experienced investor will get.
What I'm saying, like me as a builder investor, if I'm like, hey, Izzy, I got this family, they have this lot, they want to build this house, here's the specs, here's our prices, yada yada, that'd just be great if I had a financing option to provide some fancies if that was the case. So.
That's good to know. If you don't mind me asking, who are your current lending partners in terms of for that situation?
Well, that's why I'm asking, because that'd be a great partnership, right? I mean, right now we're looking at, some people are asking us questions, and then they're like, oh, how do we, if we want to buy it, what do we do? How do we finance, right? If we were to have that in our pocket and say we have our own marketing wing of our custom remodels and design company, and we have say, hey, if you need lending, talk to Certain Lending, that here's a product with some of the perks, and they're exclusive with our company or something, something like that. It's like, hey, now we're a builder, and now we have an in-house designer and financing all in one in one team. That could be pretty, especially if your rates are competitive and make it I obviously work with you guys has been easy when I've worked with you, except for that one time, but I'm just kidding. But no, it's you know, working with you guys has been easy. So I would imagine bringing that sort of streamline to a homeowner who would normally be having to go through the bank and all the, you know, crazy underwriting with that, and understanding that, you know, hey, you know, for me, it's a sales like, hey, look, this is a company that I've worked with before, and the only reason they're willing to work with you guys is because we're involved, because they know that we can get this done at, you know, on time, on, but whatever the, you know, the sales pitch would be. But that'd be, you know, an interesting way to market that and, you know, get more business. So.
You do bring up a great point. The only caveats that I see to that sort of product is all of our loans are business purpose loans. So they would have to refinance before they could live in the property, which shouldn't be an issue because it's a construction site anyway.
Right.
But thank you for bringing that up, because that's definitely another niche that we can definitely target and potentially partner up with investors and builders such as yourself. But in the beta program, we're probably going to constrain it more for the experienced borrowers. But that is definitely a great alternative in terms of where we can potentially take this product. But thank you for bringing that up, because definitely I want to take that into consideration and potentially build a synergistic relationship. I think you're on mute.
You're mute.
Some homeowners may not want or even consider. They're like, yeah, whatever. You know, there may not be a market for it, but you never know. I mean, it might be interesting to you know, at least you know, as we kind of, you know, expand our business into more custom builds and stuff like that, to see if there's a need for that. If there is, that might be a great fit. So depending on what the terms and, you know, accessibility is. So, but yeah, down the road, let's make sure we you know, earmark that.
Definitely. I will say we won't be as cheap as bank financing, basically 4%, 5%, which is what banks do. But we will be a bit higher or more analogous to or synonymous to hard money rates. But our underwriting process is like 10 times easier. So there's obviously less headaches.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing those new things with us, Israel. Appreciate that a lot. Rick, you got any interesting projects or anything that you want to share with the group? I've talked to your wife many times, but I haven't actually got to hear from you, so it's great to have you on the call here.
Yeah, you know, just still working on the same old stuff. I'm doing flips and I'm basically just negotiating for a couple right now. Before the call started officially, I was talking about a triplex in Greenwood that's turning into a flip for us, and we're looking for $75,000 for that in a, you know, second/third position loan. And the exit is that we're going to sell probably at, you know, around the first of the year. There's the shoreline assemblage that we're working near transit, and just all the usual stuff. Nothing super exciting to report since last week, but I did do a little research. Deborah mentioned earlier that Amazon may be letting people work from out of state, and she was concerned about what that might do to the rental market for her properties. I checked with a friend of mine who works at Amazon, and he says that he hasn't heard that rumor yet. It's definitely not official. The official word is that they're going to be going back to the office in mid-January, but the rumor is that that's going to be extended to June or July, because Facebook and Google have already done it. So Amazon is likely to follow suit. And he added his own commentary that some Amazon employees have to be physical in place, the delivery people, for example. Engineers don't necessarily have to be co-located, but he thinks that it's a big enough HR headache to administer that it wouldn't happen unless Google, Facebook, Microsoft all allowed it. And since there aren't any rumors of that happening, he thinks that it's probably, you know, if there are people thinking about it, it's probably not something that's going to happen anytime soon. So the rental market, at least from that perspective, is still going to be strong.
Safe. It could be that my
we-
employee reached out for that because she wanted to move. So. That's
Well,
good to
on
know.
an-
That's good to hear.
Yeah, on an individual basis, that may be different. But as far as company-wide goes, it's looking like that's not, if it's something that happens, it's going to happen industry-wide.
And
Good to
Rick,
know. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
yeah. When did you say that the potential back to office time period was?
So the official word, so the official back to the office is mid-January, although Facebook and Google have already extended to June or July. So it's likely that Amazon is going to follow suit. They just haven't announced the decision yet.
Yeah, that's great. Those dates are important, so appreciate that. Very good.
Somebody announced that their employees would not have to go back to the office at all. It was a tech company. Anybody ring a bell for anybody?
It was Dropbox.
There's a bigger one than that, I thought.
Microsoft.
Yeah, it was
Microsoft. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
No, but that's up to 50% of the time.
Not okay.
Hey, Rick, you mentioned something in there which I think might be interesting just to expand on. You talked about the assemblage that you guys are working on, and maybe you shared that with the group before, but I mean, that term, is kind of an interesting one for real estate. Do you want to elaborate on what you're doing there? Because that might just be, if there's anybody who's not familiar with that, it might be an interesting thing to learn more about.
Sure, and that's really Katrina's story to tell. So if she were here, I would flip that, pardon the pun, I'd flip that question to her. But she bought a home in Shoreline originally just to make it a Level Up house. Level Up is the charity that she operates to provide housing for kids who are aging out of the foster system. And a partner of ours bought the home right behind it, and these happen to be located about a quarter mile from the proposed transit station. Since then, they've put a third property under contract and are negotiating for the acquisition of 2 more. Where they are, they can go up 7 stories, and if they provide a certain percentage of workforce housing and build green to a degree, they'll have permission to go up 14. So there are some parties who are getting very interested in that. MG2 architects are working essentially pro bono at this point. They designed the transit center, and they're interested in designing a building nearby. And the ultimate target, if they can reach it, is to go for 5 acres in that area. So it's basically, I mean, more property allows you to do more and design bigger and do more interesting stuff. So if you can buy lots of contiguous stuff there, then you attract the interest of kind of more powerful, more resourced partners. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say about that. Do you have any questions in particular?
No, I think by elaborating on that, it was just kind of interesting if people just aren't familiar with assemblage, and joining those contiguous properties so that, there's more value in the larger plot like you're explaining. So I just thought that was great to have that elaborated on a little bit.
Yeah, that's another one of those areas where prices are just getting stupid. We bought originally for, about $500,000. There's somebody going through the neighborhood now offering 1.2 million for any group of 4 contiguous neighbors who will sell. So wow. It's gotten crazy, just absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the point I'm making is just in this competitive market, you've got to find these kind of tricks that are not obvious to force value in certain things. So like the Kirkland property, I mean, I've just been having trouble finding flips that pencil, obviously, but like in the Kirkland property, we're doing an addition that just bumps it into a whole new range, of value. So, the addition costs this much, but the value added is this much. And the assemblage thing, similar type of strategy where you're taking something that costs this much and buying a few, but then together they're actually worth so much more. And it's just, again, just those kind of more advanced strategies that just expand the mind a little bit as we hear about people actually doing it. So it's cool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It makes a ton of sense. There's so much more that you can do with 2 lots than you can with just 1. So that's huge. Taking advantage of zoning is another huge one, huge opportunity. So yeah, I agree with you.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, even though it's not here. That's great. I appreciate that. Anybody else? So far the discussion's been great for me. I hope others are enjoying it. Is there any other things that have come up? Any questions that folks have for anybody on the call? We've got a lot of wide range of experience here, from construction, flipping, lending, brokers. I know there's several brokers on the call. I'm a new broker. Just what I've been doing, I've been slowing down on looking for purchases for myself. I've got this one project going as a partnership, and I've been mostly making myself available to newer investors that are looking to get their first flips under their belt to partner with them, but kind of letting them do a lot of the legwork. And so that's kind of becoming my thing, is I want to expand my business through partnerships more than just my own efforts. I just find that is something, for some reason, I hadn't done much of, but that's kind of my focus now, is really partnering with folks and, just bringing my experience to bear and some of my resources. But also as a broker, I'm starting to show houses and stuff like that. And it's just a fun new thing to add to the quiver, so that I can list on the back end, and also, got some great young buyers that are just looking for their first house, but they want it to be an investment, maybe with a unfinished basement or something they can finish out and rent out. That's just been really fun. So that's just kind of what I'm doing currently.
Aaron, are you still keeping the wholesale side of things active?
I was never very good at it, Israel, just to be honest. So I'm launching a brand new marketing campaign to find buyers, and I've got some rebranding going on. I broke up my partnership with the wholesaler I was working with. And so I'm kind of creating my own brand now, House Buyers Pacific Northwest, and just getting, so I'm about to launch and kind of start the engine, but the majority of it is to find my own deals, and deals I can then partner, maybe bring some of these other investors in to partner with. But hopefully I'll find some good deals, and I'm willing to wholesale. I'm not going to make it my main focus, because it's just not my strength without the right partner. Let's put it that way.
Right. Makes sense.
Cool. Anybody else want to jump in on anything?
I will say, from the lending front, appraisals are starting to be a headache. So if you're looking to do a refinance, go into the refinance knowing that it may take longer than what you expect. Most appraisals are swamped. They're 30 days out, if not more. So just have that in the back of your mind going in.
Hey, Izzy, I know that July was a record-breaking month for retail real estate transactions in Washington State. Are you saying that appraisers are all going on vacation now, or are we having an even busier month this month?
So I've noticed with the refinance boom, most appraisers are super swamped. They're fully booked, even if they get a desktop appraisal order where they don't have to physically visit the property. They'll put you at the back of the line, even if you're willing to offer a premium. So that being said, they are raising their premiums. If you were used to paying $400 for an appraisal, they're charging $600-700 nowadays. But with purchases, I'm noticing purchases aren't taking as long as refinances. I'm still seeing guys out there being able to execute in 21 to 30 days, but the refinances are definitely getting hit hard.
I'll just echo that, Israel, because I've just, for a couple of my buyers that I'm showing houses to, they're working with a particular conventional lender that's not part of our team here, but and they kind of said the same thing, that they know refis are taking a long time, but they can still get a new purchase through in 3 weeks, which I thought was pretty unbelievable, especially listening to Keith talk. But It does sound like refis are really the bottleneck, and new purchases, if you have a good lender, can still get done pretty quickly. But pick your lending partners really carefully at this point. Would you agree with that, Israel?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. Sometimes just shop. That's what I would say. Talk to bigger banks if that's your cup of tea, and also talk to brokers. Sometimes brokers are able to move faster than bigger banks, and oftentimes cheaper.
Yeah, that's good. And I just know, like, I got an approval letter for one of my buyers that said 45 days. And I knew that was not going to be competitive to submit that. So I called them and asked them, can they do it faster? And they said, oh, we can do it faster. And I made them give me a new letter with, a 30-day or better terminology on it. But I wanted to make sure he could still do it. But just that was something I had to do in order to submit, a more competitive offer, is get that letter tweaked a bit. So.
Yeah, in that scenario, what I suspect that's going on in the background is that they're essentially, the borrower is paying for a rush appraisal to get it done faster.
Interesting. Good insight. All right. Well, very good. The crew is getting quieter. I don't want to just drag this out. We don't have to do that, but I just, so far, like I said, everything that's been shared, pretty fantastic stuff. I'm trying to fill Julie's shoes, and she's always so great at facilitating these conversations. Any last thing? If not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. This has been almost a full hour, and like I said, I've gotten a lot out of it. Any last questions or anything? Because if not, I'm going to let you guys go and carry on.
Thanks,
with your
Aaron. You did a great job.
Well, thanks. My pleasure. All right. Well, great. Have a fantastic day, you guys. Much success to you all in what you're doing, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.